Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I analyse some of the key moments in Act 3, Scene 3 of Romeo and Juliet based on the material in my ebook which you can pick up for £1.99 following the link in the description of this video. In the previous scene we saw Juliet's mature and responsible and even insightful reaction to the news of Romeo's banishment. Now in this scene we see Romeo's completely opposite response. Romeo's reaction to the news of his banishment is dramatic and over the top. He throws himself on the floor, refusing to move, crying out, "Be merciful, say death." Now it's worth taking a moment to think rationally about the punishment which has been announced. In Act 1, Scene 1, the prince promised that anybody who disturbed the peace of the streets again would be put to death. Romeo, therefore, is expecting to hear that his punishment is death. If this punishment was announced, Romeo would not hand himself in to be killed. He would surely flee and run away to another city and hide out there. We know this, of course, from the fact that when he did kill Tybalt, he ran away. Benvolio said run away, and he did. He could have just waited to be arrested, but he doesn't want to be arrested. Now, banishment is an interesting thing. It's not a word we use much these days, but it basically means that Romeo is not allowed to live in the city of Verona anymore. He is free to live in a different city, but he cannot step foot in Verona. So let's think about that. If he was sentenced to death, Romeo would have run away and been in hiding his whole life. Now he's sentenced to banishment, he can run away, start a new life with Juliet in a new city. It's clear, therefore, that his reaction is ridiculous. If he was sentenced to death, Romeo would have to run away and probably not be any more in line to inherit anything from his father or have any financial support from his father. However, if he goes and lives in a neighbouring city, he can still live under the financial protection of his father. He's already legally married to Juliet, and things look like they could be pretty good. So his reaction of basically saying, look, I'd rather die than this, is just crazy. Secondly, we do actually expect Juliet to be upset at the news of Tybalt's death and Romeo's part in it, because she didn't know anything about it. So when Romeo says to the friar, "What punishment have I had?" we know that Romeo expects to be put to death, and therefore the lighter sentence should make him happy. With Juliet, though, she doesn't know anything about it, so even the news of banishment will be a shock because she didn't know that Romeo had killed Tybalt. So with these 2 points in mind, Romeo really has no reason to be so dramatic here. As the friar says, news of banishment is a gentler judgment than that which was expected. But Romeo refuses to accept this. He claims there is no world without Verona walls, and our narrow-minded hero cannot think there is a possibility of a world outside his city. Now the nurse interrupts the scene, explaining that Juliet wants to see him, and hearing this, temperamental Romeo suddenly feels much better. He proclaims quite a turnaround of how well my comfort is revived by this. And at this point, the audience is surely losing patience with Romeo. Following his feelings is like taking an emotional roller coaster ride. Even in this scene, he starts distraught and feels elated. Finally, there's foreshadowing in this scene. I think this picture is quite funny, like foreshadowing, because we all know what happens next. So foreshadowing is where there's a little suggestion of what's to come next. And Romeo sort of says he would rather die. I may sack the hateful mansion. Now that's foreshadowing because he's talking about committing suicide, which is, of course, something which will end up happening later in the play. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and a like. And please do subscribe to the channel. That would be great, and thank you very much.